Yeah, it was flexible, and it was flexibility and interaction. Yeah, it was basically a formalised let's play where you weren't running around shooting each other with sticks from the yard. Ooh, there we go. And I briefly dabbled in a little bit of tabletop war games, which computer do much better. Yeah, if the computer, it can be frustrating playing sort of computerized tabletop war games because the computers don't think better; they just cheat. So if you want to play on extreme difficulty, your research is slower, your production is slower, the computer gets a 50% boost to its research and production, and that can be kind of, it's not an equal playing field. I would actually like to play with a smart computer. Now there are some games, I'm not very good at chess, but if you go with a chess computer, the difficulty level tends to be how far ahead the computer thinks or plots, because it's capable of calculating thousands of moves from the beginning, and your skill at chess is knowing the moves, the counter moves, and spotting things happening. And I'm not particularly good at that with chess. But I played a sort of first generation chess program versus a third generation chess program. And the first generation chess program we played on maximum difficulty versus the other one, which was on childlike difficulty. And it actually ended up going to stalemate, but all the way through the third generation chess program was completely wiping the first generation. It wasn't even close. It's just through a quirk of the final movements. I think the first generation program moved his king, so because it was in check, and the third generation program couldn't capitalize on it and moved his pieces such that the king of the first generation program couldn't move, and it was the only piece he had left. And so stalemate. I can't move because to move would put me into checkmate, but I'm not currently in check, so draw, which was kind of crazy. But there was just no competition. The third generation program was thinking so many moves ahead of the first generation one, even on level 1 difficulty, that the first generation program didn't have a chance. And most of us kids could beat the first generation program most of the time without even thinking. But the third generation one was a little bit of a challenge for us. And I wish that sort of games like Civilization and that just had levels of competitiveness rather than, we just get to do things 20% faster than you do. Oops. But it's the way they did it, so it is what it is. So I must admit, I tend to play most of the war games on standard difficulty just because everything's balanced. It allows it. I'm generally thinking above the level of the AI, but it allows me the opportunity to try something new that I'm not sure it's going to work, and if I screw up, I still haven't completely lost the game. But it could be a challenge for me to catch up. Or you play a minor nation rather than a major nation, so you don't have the stuff. Reverse that back up. Yeah, that's my thing. So from recent games that came out, I did like what was it? Battletech by Harebrained Schemes, produced or published by Paradox, and basically because I don't think the difficulty made the opponents cheat in any way. It might give them a higher skill level than you, but with time you can overcome a lack of skill. You could choose to make it more difficult to salvage stuff, but that was a difficulty on you. It didn't make the individual battles significantly more difficult. So a battle was as hard as you made it, and if you had the skilled pilots to get around it, you could make the battle easier for yourself. But the mechs you had were the mechs you had, and I liked that. And the enemy I didn't notice any specific the enemy's doing stuff that they shouldn't be able to do, whereas in things like Civilization it's sort of, oh, you've just invented the atomic bomb in 3000 BC. How did you manage that? Well, because my research is 10 times more than yours is. So, yeah, right. Well, thanks for that. I think I had Civilization 4 was the last Civilization game I played. The first one I figured out the way to win it was to build cities. And so I would build a city, and the first thing that city built was a settler or two. And so I quickly ran out of, I think I was playing the Mongols, and I ran out of nation names, and I think you've got about 80 city names for your nation, and then you get Mecca, and then it just starts picking foreign nation city names at random for nations that you haven't selected to play against. And then once I'd built 2 settlers with the city, I would then just build horsemen. And that was it. My entire strategy was horsemen. And it worked out so well that I think I won, and the last battle was my hordes of horsemen versus an American tank unit. And I killed that, captured the last city, and that was the end of the game. My first game of conquest. But it was seriously just build cities. The more cities you have, the more production you have. I didn't bother with research. Horsemen were working out for me, and other people were building pikemen and cavalry units and tanks and infantry, and I still had my horsemen with sharp pointy sticks, but I had so many of them that it was just crazy. Civilization 2, they altered the game foundation so that happiness was then a thing. And if you built too many cities, or your cities got too big, then your populace would get unhappy, and then you would have revolts and revolutions, and your civilization would come crashing down. So yeah, I had to come up with a new strategy for that one, but I figured it out, and yeah, it becomes easy again. And then Civ 3 I played, Civ 4 I played, and then I just didn't bother, because they weren't really adding much in the way of innovation to the game. Ooh, turn around. There we go. But then again, I usually limit myself, much like my TV, I'll limit myself to one of a style of game. So I play World of Warships, I don't play World of Tanks, I don't play Mech Warrior Online or any other game like that, because I play World of Warships, and if I want to play something like World of Warships, I've got a lot of time invested in that, and so that's the game I play. Farming, I play Farming Simulator. There's Cattle and Crops, there's Farmer's Dynasty, there's a whole host of other farming games. This is the farming game I've chosen to play. And, you know, the other games have other aspects involved in them, but I'm happy with this one. And in the past, on online role-playing games, I played one at a time. We started off on Earth and Beyond, which EA Games cancelled. So, as a team, we moved over to Star Wars Galaxies, and we played that through the first. Was it the combat upgrade, whatever it was called, and then they decided to rip the whole thing apart and do the new game experience. And I'm sorry, I'd spent 5 years or 4 years playing my characters and building them up to the point where I wanted them, and you've just trashed them by changing all of the game rules. And so we quit, and the team moved over to EverQuest 2, and we played that, I think, until the level cap hit 90. And when that happened, it was getting to the point where go out, kill bunnies, get a reward, rinse and repeat, earn tokens, buy the new gear, and keep going. And it was just, after 3 or 4 years of that, it was just, I can't be bothered anymore. Your expansion is not a new experience, it's just 10 more levels and different uniform to wear and a different weapon to wield or whatever, and we just kind of drifted away from it. And then soon after, there was rumours of EverQuest next, and then Sony Online Entertainment sold the intellectual property to someone else. I have no idea whatever happened to it after that, but I have been back. There's a team of programmers that are writing a Earth and Beyond emulator. But bottom line, it's not the same without the team that you played with, or a team, not even the team that you played with, but a team. Playing those games solo, doesn't work well. Star Wars Galaxies, I've had a look at some of the Star Wars Galaxies emulators, and it's kind of fun. You can run around and do things on your own, but again, without the group, it's not, part of the aspects of a role-playing game or an online role-playing game is the people and making it a community experience. And the Star Wars Galaxies, there were times that we had our own group because we'd moved there from Earth and Beyond when that got sunsetted. And we lived on a city in Tatooine on one of the servers. And when Jump to Lightspeed came out, I got very good with space combat. Just, it's what I'm good at. And I ended up on Friday evenings, there was a team from another city on another world that got together and did space combat stuff. And so I went and joined them because I think they turned, the reason that it had happened, I was doing the Corellian Corvette mission and I was doing it solo. I could solo it. I did not have a problem soloing that thing. And this group of guys turned up, and so I grouped with them and I helped them complete their ace pilot mission. And from that point onwards, it was a case of, oh, can you join us every week? And yeah, sure. I enjoy doing it, and it's what I do. Yeah, it's something. My ship. One of my characters was a ship designer, whatever they were called, and so I had the best equipment I could make fitted to my X-wing. And it was just a total, kick the crap out of anything ship. I even took down the Star Destroyer once on my own. I was out there a second time, and an Imperial player turned up, and he was good. I think we fought ourselves to a stalemate. The problem was the Star Destroyer was also shooting me, so I decided, discretion is the better part of valor. I can't take a Star Destroyer and a player on in one-on-one, so I jumped out, but that was kind of fun. Ground combat, not so much. I mean, we did do some stuff as our clan or whatever it was, but and the clan was good. I mean, we had a bunch of guys. We had one guy who was retired, and he spent most of his time sitting in town and offering his services for, oh, you want to go out and kill some critters on Dantooine? Yeah, let's go and do that. He'd get his tank out, and we'd go out and shoot up some critters on a world, or oh, you need some new armor. I'll just switch to my armor maker and I'll make you a suit. And really nice guy. Not around anymore, but you turn up in the city. He was almost always there and always looking to help people. Kind of the granddad of the group. Since then, the team kind of fell apart, and and part of the problem was the general group interest. I am more interested in sci-fi than I am in fantasy games, and obviously got involved in the group in Earth and Beyond, which was a sci-fi game. Star Wars Galaxies sci-fi game. EverQuest not so much, and it was sort of, well, I don't really want to do it, but it is the best clan supported game the other one being World of Warcraft, and none of us were interested in going off to World of Warcraft. So yeah, we played EverQuest 2. We picked up a lot of new players into the clan because they were interested in the fantasy setting. But there was always the nagging thing of, well, there are those of us who just prefer science fiction. When Star Trek Star Trek Online came out, some of us went off there, but the team didn't go. And so it was kind of a flat game for us because there wasn't the group. I know one guy went off to Eve and had a great time there, because that's what he did in Earth and Beyond. He was always trying to research the developer's storyline, and when EA Games decided to cancel it, the storyline went away. He never joined us in EverQuest because that wasn't his interest. He was interested in investigating and the storyline. And he's probably still playing that game, Eve, today. But I have no idea what he's... Yeah. Who he is or what he does anymore. And yeah, the group breaks up. Like, some of the group went off to some other fantasy games, and I just wasn't interested in moving over to them. Last I heard, they were in Miscreated, which is a sort of post-apocalyptic zombie game, and again, not a genre that interests me. So here I am on my farm cutting my grass because it helps pass the time, and I don't need a massive clan to go out and kill dragons or Star Destroyers or whatever. Okay, we're nearly at the end of this. How's my tea? Nah, not bad. Yeah, good news is it didn't taste of vinegar. So 9 o'clock in the morning, and once this is done, I think we're kind of out of jobs for the day. There's no, the only contracts I've left are baling contracts, and baling contracts I need to, only come in silage bales or wrapped grass bales, and since we've got an extractor I can't make wrapped grass, because to move it you have to unwrap it, so you have to wait until it's brewed. Just not wide enough. Well, don't that suck? And we are done. And lift, fold, rear mower, lift, fold, turn off. So, grass is cut. Let's. I could do another check on the contracts, because I did. There's transporting contracts, there's baling contracts. That baling contract pays well. But as I said, I need to, I would need to lease a wrapper, or borrow their equipment, which kind of makes it a little pointless when it comes to the money making. Well, it is good money. I suppose I could look at that one. Field 14 baling, you only lose 382. Where is Field 14? Eeny, meeny, miny. Oh, that one full of weeds. That's just awesome. It's not very big. I'm going to skip it. And then transporting contracts. I haven't done any from Manor to Hilltop Stores. That's probably a fairly easy one. Sawmill to Empire Stores. Empire Stores is the one over here, so that involves a drive down the street. But transport contracts are nothing to write home about, so not worried about that. Sheep, fed and watered, 28,000 bales. Or 28,000 is for 7 bales a day, yeah. Now it's I think it's about 48 hours. They did want to make it 24, but the problem with that is you feed your sheep at 9 o'clock this morning, and then you have a load of stuff that you have to do tomorrow, and you can't get to them until just after midday, and they've been out of supply for 6 hours. So they had to, they couldn't do a strict 24-hour feeding schedule. Anyway, that's the mowing done for now. Oh, I didn't weed the top field. Well, actually, I think we're doing odd days for weeding. The only reason I weeded those fields today was because cutting them. Okay, I guess we'll clean this off. Oh, yay. That's probably... We might be close to the top two, or the cow pasture, or the pasture behind the cow barn, and the other pasture that we bought, field 9, being ready to mow. Okay, that's clean. So, next thing we'll be doing here is tedding and baling when it turns into stuff. So I think the main objective now drop this here. We'll attach the class onto the baler, and I'll attach the fent onto the windrower. I could do it as a follow me, but I think maybe we'll save the money and do the jobs one at a time. Okay, engine off, let's go jump in the fent, and oh, we are in the fent, okay. Drop off the field harrow, grassland harrow, whatever it's called. And go fetch the windrower. Let's try drive through the opening and not make a new one.